The Flinders Highway is a 900-kilometer vein of asphalt cutting through the most isolated reaches of the Australian outback. It is a desolate place of extreme distance and even deeper silence, notorious for a cluster of unsolved murders and travelers who seem to drop off the map without a trace. In November 1982, 19-year-old Tony Jones was navigating this stretch alone. He was a backpacker on a working holiday, hitchhiking with no money in his pockets, making a final late-night phone call to his mother from a booth in Townsville. During that call, his mother confirmed she had transferred $150 into his bank account. It was a crucial lifeline, intended to fund his journey west to meet his brother in Mount Isa. 8 days passed with no word. When the family finally contacted the bank, they discovered the $150 remained untouched. For a broke teenager stranded in the desert, leaving that money in the account was just an impossibility. The dead bank account suggests that Tony's trail was cut off the moment the money arrived. Keeping a person hidden for 40 years requires more than the vastness of the bush. It is the result of 3 specific forces: a wave of manufactured lies, a community that refuses to talk, and a sequence of institutional failures. The first obstacle to finding the truth was the injection of manufactured noise. In high-profile cold cases, false leads can act as a form of structural interference, exhausting police resources and pulling the investigation away from the facts. In 1983, an anonymous letter claimed Tony was buried near the Hughenden River. Police spent weeks searching the area, but the lead was a physical impossibility. The terrain was too flat to hide a grave from seasonal floods, and a heavy cattle fence stood exactly where the author claimed a body had been transported. Decades later, a violent serial killer in a Darwin prison confessed to the murder. This, too, was a dead end. Investigators eventually determined his story was a delusion, a desperate attempt by a predator to inflate his own body count and secure a horrific legacy. While police chased these hoaxes, the investigation eventually turned toward the town of Hughenden. These remote outback outposts often operate as closed psychological ecosystems, where locals protect one another from the scrutiny of outsiders. In Hughenden, rumors of a 1982 pub fight at the Grand Hotel had been whispered for years, but never reported. Witnesses described a backpacker staggering out of the hotel bleeding, pursued into the shadows by 2 men in a car. One local slaughter yard worker reportedly confessed the crime to at least 5 different people over the years. He described dismembering a hitchhiker at the abattoir and disposing of the remains in the industrial burn pits, details that remained buried within the town's social fabric. This collective silence formed an impenetrable shield around the suspects. In the outback, isolation is a powerful tool for a killer, but it only works when an entire community chooses not to speak. In 2017, a coronial inquest finally broke the stalemate. A judge ordered the police to conduct a forensic search of the old Hughenden slaughter yards, specifically targeting those decades-old burn pits. Despite the clear court order, the search was derailed by a monumental administrative error. Instead of scanning the private slaughter yard, the police executed their forensic report on the local council tip, located further up the road. This mistake had permanent legal consequences. Because the search warrant had been botched, the private slaughter yards remained legally protected and unsearched, effectively stalling the investigation for years. The failure to find Tony in Hughenden was a failure of procedure. It was human bureaucratic error, rather than the mystery of the landscape, that kept a murdered man hidden for another generation. Archaeologist Dr. Louise Stating decided to bypass the official investigation entirely. By securing private permission from the current landowners, she was finally able to step onto the slaughter yard grounds to conduct a forensic audit. She cross-referenced satellite imagery with ground-penetrating radar to identify soil disturbances. The scan revealed an unnatural anomaly, a man-made trench 1 meter deep. Records show it was opened in late 1982 and covered shortly after, perfectly matching the timeline of the murder. This finding shifted the entire scale of the case. The original 900-kilometer search radius along the highway was suddenly reduced to a single pulsing point on a map. Mark Jones has spent 40 years chasing this moment. He is now waiting for a final coroner's warrant to excavate this exact spot, hoping that this localized data will finally provide the answer the family has been denied. A town's silence and a botched legal process can hold the truth captive for decades. But as this investigation proves, the combination of modern technology and a family's refusal to stop looking can eventually bypass human failure and force the Earth to yield its secrets.